A 14-year-old boy wins a national science award, but when President Trump tries to hand him the medal in front of his entire school, the boy steps back and says, "I can't accept this from you, sir. Not after what you did to my community." The gymnasium at Riverside Academy in Bismarck, North Dakota, buzzed with excitement. Students in their gray uniforms filled the bleachers, their chatter echoing off the wooden floor. Parents, teachers, and a few local officials sat in the front rows, waiting for the ceremony to begin. It wasn't every day that the President of the United States made a surprise visit to their small school, but today was special. President Donald Trump had arrived to personally present a National Science Award to one of their own, a 14-year-old prodigy named Kaelan Rivers, who had won for his project on renewable energy solutions. Secret Service agents stood discreetly near the exits, their presence a quiet reminder of the high-profile guest. Kaelan stood at the edge of the stage, his hands clasped tightly in front of him. He was a quiet kid, with a sharp mind and a deep connection to his Native American roots in the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. His project had been inspired by his community's push for sustainable energy, a cause that meant everything to him. But as he glanced at President Trump, who was adjusting his red tie and chatting with the principal, Kaelan's stomach twisted. He knew what he had to do. The principal, a middle-aged woman named Mrs. Halverson, stepped up to the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to welcome the President of the United States, Donald Trump, to present the National Young Innovator Award to our very own Kaelan Rivers." The crowd erupted in applause. Trump stepped forward, waving with a broad smile, holding a gold medal in his hand. Kaelan walked to the center of the stage, his school uniform slightly wrinkled from nervous fidgeting, and faced the president. Trump extended the medal toward Kaelan, his voice booming through the microphone. "This is a tremendous honor, folks. Tremendous. Kaelan, you've done something fantastic with your project. Really fantastic. America's proud of you." The crowd clapped again, but Kaelan didn't move. Instead, he took a small step back, his eyes locked on Trump. The gymnasium fell silent, the sudden shift catching everyone off guard. "I can't accept this from you, sir. Not after what you did to my community," Kaelan said, his voice steady but loud enough for the microphone to catch. The crowd froze. Mrs. Halverson's smile vanished. Trump's hand, still holding the medal, paused mid-air. Trump blinked, then leaned toward the microphone, his tone shifting to a mix of confusion and defensiveness. "Excuse me, young man. What are you talking about? This is a big moment for you. A great moment." Kaelan didn't flinch. He took a deep breath and spoke again, his words cutting through the silence. "My community in Standing Rock. We've been fighting against the new oil pipeline your administration approved. It's going to destroy our water supply, our land, everything we've been protecting for generations. I can't take this medal when your policies are hurting my people." The crowd murmured, some students exchanging wide-eyed glances. Trump set the medal on the table beside him, crossing his arms. "Look, I understand you're upset, but let me tell you something. That pipeline, it's creating jobs. Thousands of jobs. It's good for the economy, good for America. You'll understand when you're older, believe me." Kaelan shook his head, his voice rising slightly. "It's not just about jobs, sir. It's about our future. My tribe has been on that land for centuries. We've already seen what pipelines can do. Spills, contamination, sickness. My grandmother taught me how to fish in the river near our home. But now, we can't even drink that water safely. You approved this pipeline without even talking to us, without caring what it means for our lives." Trump raised a hand, his tone growing sharper. "Now hold on. We did everything by the book, okay? We had meetings, we had discussions, lots of discussions. The energy sector, it's a big deal, a huge deal. We're making America energy independent, something nobody else could do. I'm not saying your concerns aren't valid, but you've got to look at the bigger picture here." Kaelan's eyes narrowed, his voice firm. The bigger picture is that my community is losing everything. My science project. It's about renewable energy, about finding ways to power our homes without destroying the earth. But what's the point if people like you keep choosing oil over our planet? You're the president. You're supposed to protect us, not put us in danger." The crowd was completely silent now, every eye on the stage. Trump's expression hardened, but he kept his tone controlled. "Listen, kid. I respect your passion, I really do. But let me tell you something. I've done more for this country than anyone. We're building infrastructure. We're bringing jobs back. We're making America great again. Sometimes tough decisions have to be made. That's leadership." Kaelan stepped closer to the table, his voice unwavering. "Leadership isn't ignoring people who are hurting. My tribe has been protesting for months, standing in the cold, holding signs, begging to be heard. But you didn't listen. You sent more security to guard the pipeline construction than you sent to help us. How is that leadership?" Trump's eyebrows shot up, and he pointed a finger at Kaelan, his voice rising. "Now that's not fair, okay? That's not fair. We've got security because we need to protect the workers, protect the project. You think I want chaos? I don't. I want things to run smoothly, for everybody. And let me tell you, I've got the best people working on this, the best." Kaelan shook his head again, his voice softer, but filled with conviction. "If your best people cared, they'd be talking to us, not building over us. My project, it's a solar panel system that could power our entire reservation without any pipelines, without any risk. I worked on it for 2 years, testing it, building it with my own hands. I thought this award meant something, that it meant people were listening to kids like me, but how can I take this from you when you're the one making things worse?" Trump crossed his arms again, his tone shifting to a more conciliatory one. "Look, I get it. You're a smart kid, a really smart kid. Your project, it's fantastic, I mean that. Solar panels, renewable energy, all that stuff, it's great. But we can't just stop everything we're doing. Oil, gas, it's what keeps this country running right now. You can't change that overnight, you just can't." Kaelan's voice trembled slightly, but he held his ground. "Maybe not overnight, but you're not even trying. You're choosing what's easy, not what's right. My community, we don't have a choice. We're the ones who have to live with the consequences, not you. My little sister, she's only 7. She asked me last week why the river smells bad now. What am I supposed to tell her? That the president doesn't care?" Trump's expression shifted, a flicker of something, maybe discomfort, crossing his face. He leaned forward, his voice lower. "That's a little harsh, don't you think? I care a lot. I've got kids, grandkids. I want them to have a future too. But we've got to balance things, you know? Jobs, energy, progress. It's not as simple as you're making it sound." Kaelan took a deep breath, his voice steadying. "It's not simple for us either. Last month my uncle got sick because of the water. He's been in the hospital for weeks. The doctors say it's from the chemicals leaking into the river, chemicals from the construction you approved. My family's scared every day that it'll get worse, that we'll lose our home, our land, everything. You talk about balance, but where's the balance for us?" Trump paused, his hand hovering near the metal on the table. He spoke more slowly now, his tone less defensive. "I didn't know about your uncle, okay? That's unfortunate, really unfortunate. But let me tell you, we're looking into these things. We've got people, good people, checking on the water, the safety, everything." Kaelan shook his head, his voice rising again. "If you were really looking into it, you'd stop the pipeline until it's safe. But you won't, because it's easier to keep going. My tribe, we've been fighting for years to protect our land. We thought things would get better, that someone would listen. But instead, you made it worse. I can't take this medal and pretend everything's okay when it's not." Trump ran a hand through his hair, his voice taking on a more authoritative tone. "Now look, I hear you. I do. But you've got to understand. This pipeline, it's a done deal. It's already in motion. Billions of dollars, thousands of jobs. We can't just shut it down because a few people aren't happy. That's not how it works." Kaelan's eyes glistened, but he didn't back down. "A few people? There are hundreds of us, sir. And it's not about being happy. It's about surviving. My project, this award, it's supposed to be about the future. But what future do we have if our water's poisoned, if our land's destroyed? I can't celebrate that." Trump sighed, his tone softer now, almost paternal. "You're a good kid, Kaelan, a really good kid. I see why you won this award. You've got guts, I'll give you that. But you've got to trust me on this. We're doing the best we can, okay? The best." Kaelan looked at the medal on the table, then back at Trump, his voice quiet but firm. "My community's future is worth more than this." He turned and walked off the stage, joining his classmates in the bleachers. The crowd began to clap slowly, the sound growing as more students and parents joined in, their applause a quiet show of support. Trump stood there for a moment, the medal still on the table. He looked out at the crowd, then back at Kaelan, who was now sitting with his friends, his head held high. Trump stepped toward the microphone, his voice steady but carrying a hint of reflection. "Tough kid, really tough kid. You know what, folks? I hear him, I really do. And I'm going to look into this myself, personally. We're going to review this pipeline project, make sure we're doing right by these communities, okay? We'll make it better, I promise you that." The crowd clapped again, louder this time, some parents nodding in approval. Trump waved briefly, then turned to his team, gesturing for them to follow. He exited the gymnasium, Secret Service agents trailing behind as the ceremony came to a close. If this moment moved you, take a moment to reflect on the issues Kaelan raised: environmental justice, the rights of Native communities, and the power of standing up for what's right. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories that inspire and challenge us all.